Good Tuesday afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center right now with a severe weather alert tracking a severe thunderstorm warning for areas of Baker, Bradford, Clay, Duval, and Union counties until about 2:30. Some 60-mile-an-hour winds not out of the question as we see here that threat within the yellow box. You just gotta go ahead and make sure you're getting inside, away from windows. I know we've had the thunder around the lightning for a while, so hopefully you're already doing so. But now a severe thunderstorm warning officially in effect here until about 2:30. The worst missing star at this point, which is the good news, you see an advisory extending down, but really the focal point is up in toward northern Bradford County and northeastern Union County. So again, I just gotta be watching things in that neck of the woods here as we're continuing to track the latest updates. And I'll go ahead and switch on over to our velocity product here in just a moment to kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on with some of the wind. It looks like some of the strongest could be there moving toward the Highland area right now. Not seeing the most overwhelming signature, but we just have to kind of keep our eyes on things here this afternoon to see if we have a marginal risk in play. So I just gotta make sure I'm paying attention just in case things kind of ramp up on us. I know we're getting a hail signature that looks a little bit more aggressive on this mode. I don't think it's quite as big as it's showing there, but we'll just have to continue to watch things here very carefully. I'll go to other product right now and say you guys that just starting to see some hail potentially develop there just west there of Holland, just near 301. You can kind of see how wind is maybe prominent there a few moments ago, but now a little bit more so. So again, a severe thunderstorm warning until 2:30 here. You see the marginal risk in the dark green. That actually includes all for 62 counties here. So damaging winds will definitely be a concern here today in terms of hail. Not really seeing that as much of a threat, but can't rule it out. The warning there, not necessarily for hail, but we'll just continue to watch things obviously here in the weather center. Let's go ahead right now and zoom back in a little bit, and I'll zoom in even a little bit tighter. And they're saying that this warning here, the Weather Service, was issued at 1:42 for severe thunderstorm located over Rayford, moving northeast at 15 miles an hour. So Rayford, Maxville, New River, Laurie, Johnstown, and Ellerby here under this warning. So a lot of Bradford's northern zones under this here, not necessarily as many populated areas in some of the outlying spots there within the warning for parts of Baker and Clay and Duval. You hear all those other counties, but you don't necessarily have much population in the little slivers that have actually been included here underneath this warning. So again, just continuing to track things here. As I know, it's a pretty hot day, not as hot as it's been here in terms of those readings. It's getting in the lower 90s here where we're at east of Stark, but just continuing to watch things here very carefully. Trying to give you guys the very latest. Let me go ahead and say our instability values right now, and you can kind of see how we have them a little bit higher up toward Jacksonville. That could be cause for concern here in a little bit up toward that area. And then as we go ahead, and I'll take that off for a moment, let's go ahead and put on our infrared satellite here. Our infrared satellite product, kind of get an idea of what's going on here with some of this pop-up action. And you'll be able to see that we're getting some colder cloud tops here. Let's go to the US view, might be a little bit clearer on that, but again, some colder cloud tops here indicative of some stronger thunderstorm activity. I know when you're kind of on the edges of it too, that can be a little bit more favorable slot as well. So again, just something to keep in mind as we had a severe thunderstorm warning in play until about 2:30 for parts of Baker, Bradford, Clay, Duval, and Union, but not really much in towards Stark here at this point. It's more about Laurie and some of the areas around Highland there along 301. And then we'll be eventually watching. You saw the instability to the north and east, so this storm is tracking here off toward the north and east. So in theory, it could get into more populated areas than Duval with a warning here as we look ahead this afternoon. So you can see some of that wind energy right now around Hugh and Highland there. I know we're in Stark, eastern Bradford, but this is in northern Bradford where to focus. here you can see some of the enhancement in here, but then also over here as well, as we kind of look at some of our different products here, our base velocity going between that and the storm relative velocity. So again, it's a bit thunderstorm warning employee until 2:30. So for the 33 minutes thread here, moving into work parts of more populated Duval County right now. Lawry's kind of on the edge of this, to be quite honest. You've seen some heavy downpours in there, but the issue this warning really once it was getting past Rayford there. We had some enhancement back here, but the warning not really issued until we started to see more of that further out in the northwestern Bradford. Now it seems like we've even seen some strengthening here, and our hail signature on our product is a little bit more reliable. It's getting closer toward an inch now, so you can see that there. It's just under an inch, but it's rounding up there. But 0.98 is what it's showing on my end. But this is right there in northern Bradford. I want to call it northeast Bradford here at this point. But again, just continuing to watch. This yellow is indicative of a little bit bigger hail, a little bit stronger storm. Not expecting a lot of damage reports out of this based on the rural nature of the population density involved here. And then also not just that, but it's a situation where it's not overwhelmingly severe, just barely severe maybe here based on what I'm seeing in the weather center. Let me go ahead and zoom back out a little bit here. I want to look at some of our wind direction arrows. You can kind of see here the pattern that we're dealing with today. And then we have some different players that are going to enhance things here in the pictures. Stronger storms with some other neighborhoods. And new advisory coming out for Gadsden and Liberty there until about, it looks like 2:45. So again, quite a bit going on in northern Florida. Not so much in southern Georgia. You don't see too much up there. But another advisory coming for areas of Baker, Nassau, and Charlton. So a little bit of concern in the west South Georgia, and could have more later on with that marginal risk in play for our whole area. A 1 out of 5 risk, nothing overwhelming, but I know it serves here just to emphasize, give a few more warnings here on the summertime day with that enhancement that we're talking about coming into the picture. So again, I'm just continuing to track things. I'll just issue a new warning further on up toward the north and eastern. I don't know, a new advisory coming out. We talked about northern areas there in Baker, but let's see how this looks right now. It's kind of close right now, kind of marginally severe maybe, or high-end strong. We'll have to see. I would kind of, since they issued up for the more rural areas, I kind of think they'd want to issue it for more populated areas in Duval County here over the next little bit. But again, this has been a situation where it's been more rural Bradford. I know Bradford does have quite a bit of population. For you those that don't know, we're in Bradford. That's where I'm from. But I know there are other areas of Bradford here that are not as densely populated, and that's where this warning got issued. You saw some enhancement. It was kind of displaced here at first, but then we started to see it catch up, and now you've seen a little bit more of a mixing of colors. There may be a little bit of a downburst signature there just northwest of Hugh, or excuse me, just southwest of Hugh, just northwest of Holland here. So again, very rural overall, if you guys are wondering. These are not very populated areas of Bradford, but we started moving to more populated zones. You see Hugh, then you have in here, I know, areas further on up. We're going to be watching. That looks like a pretty strong pixel there right near 301. So that makes me think they'll probably extend a warning further on up, but if not, an advisory at least is coming in the next few moments. I mean, it's on the edge of the warning here at this point. So we're at the top of the hour, 2 o'clock. A meteorologist, Casey Cloud, here in the Weather Center. I know there's a bunch of warnings in North Georgia just popping one after another, but in our area, in our viewing circle, there's only one here. Could have a little bit of a maybe a more concentrated area of storms later tonight. By the way, if you guys are wondering, look at some of the model guidance here. Will be coming in from the west and north, so we'll have to watch that. But, let's just kind of go to a broad perspective here right now, I think. That might help you guys, the viewers at home. We see a bunch of warnings in North Georgia. See it's a bit thunderstorm wide, North Carolina, South Carolina, even into Virginia there. But in our area here, we just have the one warning. Just have the one warning there for now, but that could change as we get an extension, I would think. But if not an extension of a warning, then at least an advisory being extended further on out here. So seeing some winds about 50 miles an hour there at about 2,000 feet. 58 is officially what you call severe, but you could still have a little bit of damage here. Even under that, these are the strongest winds. They go back here we were seeing winds closer on radar at least, even though the potential was for an occasional gust to 60 with the warning here. We were seeing mainly just a scenario where we had winds of about 35 to 40 in velocity until some of the most recent scans that have now escalated a bit up toward 50 miles an hour as the storminess moves in towards southwestern Duval County. So again, a nasty situation for these folks here on maybe Maxville over the next little bit. We're just going to zoom in a little bit tighter, and you'll be able to kind of see some of these areas along 301. So again, just continuing to watch things here. Just going to have to continue to give you guys the latest updates here as the situation does progress on us. So again, I'm just checking all my different resources here. Maxville is in parts of Duval County, of course. So again, let's go ahead and zoom back out. I know our covered area is about 62. It's about 62 counties here. It's about 62 counties, and we're in Bradford County here in north central Florida. And then you have parts of northeast Florida included. You have areas there out toward the Big Bend and in South Georgia. We're always on for tornado warning storms. We have been on for every single one to move through our counties here over the last few years. Every single tornado warning storm to move through our counties. And then severe thunderstorms, we use discretion. We kind of go with what we're seeing. We play on by ear per se. But we go on for most of them, especially the other times of year. This time of year, we post if we don't go on, but we're on for the majority of them. We think they really pose a threat here based on some different criteria we set forth, but there are just so many warning indications that we'll just kind of not come on because we don't think there's quite as much potential or population density. I know this is a more rural area than we sometimes go on for, but we're in Bradford. It's really something we try to go on for is any severe thunderstorm warning issued for Bradford County. But moving here up toward the north and east now out of Bradford, some of the worst. There's still some lightning around though. Still some lightning around as I look at the latest scans. Let me go ahead and go back on over right now. We'll go back on over to other view. I know you see some lightning. A little bit more storminess back out toward it looks like the area of southern Bradford. I know, let me see the sky where we're at. It's not pointing to a severe storm though. The severe warning, just if you guys are wondering out there. So don't want you guys getting confused. But it is dark nonetheless. It's pointing toward the west. I mean, just a tad bit south. And kind of look at some of that stuff there that's just coming across the south side of Stark here. And toward even more so the heavier downpours toward the bypass area at this point. So again, just continuing to watch things here. Continuing to watch, as you can kind of see. I know some of the roads here, if you look carefully, I'm talking about this area. This is a couple minutes behind, so this heavier downpour action just starting to cross over the bypass, which is in here. If you guys are wondering, I know system here shows it, but it doesn't show it in a different layer, but it shows it right in here. If you guys are just wondering what I'm talking about, so again. Continuing to watch this thread. Okay, it looks like they've decided they're not going to extend this as a warning as of now. They're going to go with an advisory for areas of Baker, Eastern Clay, South Central Duval, Western Clay, Western Duval. I know the way they issue this is interested with his zones, but again, just continuing to watch things. That's how they do them, really, a lot of them, but it can get tricky when you have Western Duval included, Eastern Clay, Central Duval, Western Clay. You kind of get the idea. But okay, so again, we're watching things carefully. Right now, it sounds like we're not going to get another warning for that. So they might drop this one pretty soon. But whenever thunder roars, go indoors. If there's any questions here from any of the viewers at home, let me just see if there's anything here. I don't see anything. But again, thanks so much for tuning in and trusting me on this Tuesday afternoon. This August 15th here, 2023. We're getting closer. There's some cool air in the picture, barely. The sign that we're getting closer to moving out of the summertime pattern. We're definitely not there yet. I mean, where you have a chance of storms and sometimes severe, really, I mean, as you look here day after day after day. But eventually we're going to get out of this here as football season's on the horizon. It's really getting going. Some exhibition high school football games coming up here just a couple days even. So again, just continuing to watch things here. Let me zoom back out and then zoom back in up toward this here. I expect the warning to go away soon since they issued that advisory, but we'll wait and see. You can see there around parts of Baker County there, some wind enhancement. Let's get out toward Tallahassee, some stronger storms out there. Nothing warned for. A little bit of wind enhancement east side of Leon, but nothing overwhelming. Some areas of wind in Madison County and northern and northeastern Taylor County, northern Lafayette County. We'll watch here. We'll track, but let's get back over here. You can see some of the stronger wind getting out of the one in Polygon, but still lingering a bit around Hughes. So make sure I don't get any reports over the next few moments. Let me see if there's any power outage numbers starting to up out of Bradford County right now. Again, just continuing to give you guys the very latest to protect you, protect your friends, and protect your family. So let me go ahead. I'll go ahead and check our information that we're getting in at this point. About 3,000 customers out in the state of Florida here. And it looks like, according to this, Power Outage.us aggregate map, 274 in Dixie County, 600 in Columbia County, 37 in Union, but only one sun up so far in Bradford, 83 in Alachua. So some of the other storms actually with the electrical energy and maybe a little bit of wind enhancement, maybe so far, so on more outages. But let's just go ahead and check because there's a chance some of these newest outages might have happened in just the last few moments since that update came out. So let's go ahead and check Clay Electric. Okay, they have 10 customers out in Bradford County now, according to their map. So very little, which is good. We've had strong storms do this. Where we don't actually have warnings, we get more outages, and that's a good thing, and that we're not getting too many on that grid at this point in time. Let me go ahead and check here. FPNL, we'll go ahead and check their map right now. See if we can get the latest on what's going on. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in just a bit here. Okay, there are some just west of Lodi, 2 customers in the dark zone up there. So, okay, that might be about it that I see so far. I'll keep kind of looking around, but it sounds positive so far there. Sounds positive so far. Let me go ahead and continue to watch things. We'll see if there's any reports here, maybe of some lines down or the like. Check a couple different sources that I have here at my disposal. See if there's any reports of trees down or anything that I've gotten in so far. So let me just go ahead and check here. Just trying to give you guys the latest. Don't we see anything on this sort. I'm gonna go ahead and check our other one then. See if we have any incidents here. Let me just see. So yeah, that's not related. That's not related. That shouldn't be related, I wouldn't think. No, that's not related is either. Just some of these are police type informational details, and not gonna really report anything if it's not related to weather here. But doesn't look like anything's related at this point. So that's a good sign here in Bradford County. But we'll keep checking. We'll keep checking here. So again, just continuing to give you guys the latest. Seems like there's a little bit of light in northern Bradford. I know there's school kids there. Let me see when they get out of school there in Lodi, because I know you still have some downpours in your area. I'll check all of them here real quick, or try to anyway. So let me just go ahead and pull that up here to get an idea of what's going on. So just bear with me. So it looks like at least 210 right now then, right, if that's accurate here, then what I'm seeing to get out of school right in this very moment, and toward Lodi, and they're getting into some light to moderate downpours there, but not necessarily anything overwhelming like up toward Highland, a little bit heavier rain, and actually down toward Hampton. I know folks may be riding a bus down there. Let's see how things look. Okay, so 2:30 is when they get out of Bradford Elementary and Stark. So folks riding a bus down there could encounter some of that, or if they're heading, parents heading up to pick up the kids could encounter some of that. You see, just continuing to watch things here, some stuff developing in Alachua County thunderstorms, not technically strong or severe right now, and they can still pose a hazard with that dangerous lightning. So whenever thunder roars, just be extra careful. I would say go indoors, but I mean, if you're already outside trying to pick up your kid, just be in a scenario here we're using as much caution as possible, obviously. So again, I'm just continuing to watch things here, continuing to watch things as we're looking at 212. Let me go ahead and zoom back out again. You see the zoom back in now. I kind of picked this storm, some wind enhancement coming into work parts of Charlton County there, and then let's get further on out here. You see some winds here in eastern Leon. You have some stuff there toward Madison County, and toward Madison County. Just continuing to give you guys the latest updates here this afternoon. Let me go ahead and see what we have. They're still keeping the warning. They haven't dropped it yet, so that's why we haven't necessarily wrapped up coverage here. They think that maybe there could still be a little bit of wind energy, I guess, holding on there in the far eastern side of this polygon here with some of the heavier downpour trying to bring the wind to the surface. But they think that even though we have the higher instability out here, that maybe we won't get as strong of winds down based on some of the latest velocity data. So we're only seeing winds about 35 to 40 in this now versus the 50 surge we had a few minutes ago. So, but you hear more thunder in the background where I'm at. So we're definitely seeing some strengthening with some stuff. So gotta be careful whenever thunder roars. Go indoors. So again, let's just go ahead and keep watching things here. You can kind of see what we're talking about with the winds here moving up toward areas like Herlon Airport. And then, I'm hearing thunder where I'm at. I don't see it catching up quite as quick, but I think it's down here, Roy, is what we're talking. So let's go ahead and, oh, excuse me, I didn't mean to put that up, but let's go to our camera there. You can kind of see, what we're talking about. So, again, just continuing to watch things here. We're just seeing some of the darker skies as we're looking further on down there. Some of this stuff is coming further up toward areas of Stark. So even though it's not technically strong or severe, lightning is a hazard. Whenever thunder roars, go indoors here. And that's the case with this accent here coming in from the south right now. So again, let's just go ahead and keep watching things here with it. Again, watching this area here that is moving in northwestern Clay County, very rural in the ward. Some of these spots anyway, I mean, it's tricky in here because it's not as rural in other neighboring spots, but we don't have many cities showing up here. There are some homes out here and the like, but I mean, as you see, we do have a pretty interesting area here. We have a little bit of a change in topography. So again, just continuing to watch things. Just continuing to monitor. I know there's some new roads out there that might be that too, but again, continuing to watch things in Bradford County. Again, this is not considered turning severe down here, but some heavy downpours along US 301 definitely causing maybe a rough trip there along that stretch at this point. Getting to the north again, you see the heavier downpours. Let's take the camera off for a moment. Let's take the camera off for a moment there, and then we'll get back up towards this area around Tallahassee. I'm not seeing any signatures that are overwhelming right now, but just don't want to let your guard down in some of these situations here. Now you can see this around the western side of Jefferson County there. Winds to about maybe 40, not out of the question. We'll continue to watch, and then toward Madison County. Just continuing to give you guys the very latest there. And then you can see our area here. We had the warning in the yellow box, but now at this point it's turning into a situation where it's more about an advisory here at this moment anyway. But it doesn't mean we couldn't have some dangerous conditions, not even an advisory down here, but some lightning. May get an advisory down in the areas further in Bradford here pretty soon with that dangerous electrical energy around. So I just got to keep that in mind. Just whenever thunder roars, you really want to try to get indoors so they can strike folks here. Media reports had a lightning strike there yesterday in Central Florida. Again, just got to be careful. A little bit of wind enhancement starting to develop there near Arredondo. And one thing that I've seen here, they just canceled the warning, so that's good news. And that means we could wrap it pretty soon. But one thing I've seen is we're getting more development. If you get a lot of storms to develop, that can sometimes suppress the peaks here on storms. Not always, but sometimes it can play a role. So maybe we'll get lucky in that regard. But there's a lot of energy out there, and there's moisture to work with, even though we're not quite as hot. It's not quite as maybe as we're looking here back in the timeline as excessive in terms of the heat, but still can be dangerous. As we'll go ahead and look here at some of the different alerts here and play for that. You want to see what I'm talking about. Some of the areas have already started to cool off, but you see our heated advisory instead of the warning out west there. That's not in play as we're looking where our counties. I'm going to go ahead and take my thermometer here real quick. Let me go ahead and switch these over to temperatures. Bear with me, and I'm going to check my thermometer behind me. So we've cooled considerably. We're down into the 80s here. Yeah, we're down to 81 degrees where we're at here east of Stark right now. So we've cooled considerably. We were in the lower 90s, not the upper 90s like we've been getting, or really 100 yesterday, 101 officially there at my Davis Weather Station here east of Stark back on Sunday. We only got in the lower 90s today, but now we're down into the lower 80s, so that's helpful here. We haven't got that much rain where we're at, but we've kind of seen the cooler setup take place around us. So that's some good news as we're in this area. Still some lightning around Hampton though. Not out of the question there. And that could be cloud to ground lightning even. We're definitely getting those rumbles of thunder. And then you see in Stark right now some heavier downpours. Let's go ahead and put up the camera again here. You can kind of see how things are looking a little darker. We're going to be getting into some heavier accent here where we're at now. I know we talked about some of the overall atmospheric setup here, trying to kind of cool us some. But now we're going to be in a scenario here where we get even cooled further here with some downpours, it looks like, here in eastern Bradford County. So let's see if there are any questions from the viewer, any comments here on this Tuesday afternoon. I don't see anything right now, but again, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for trusting me here. You can see the rain starting to fall in that corner there. In fact, let's take that full if we can. We'll go ahead and move away from the double box version of this here for the present time. And let's just go ahead and take this full, and you can kind of see what we're talking about here with the rain in play. Starting to pick up some lightning around, not as much as maybe a few moments ago. I know new advisory, by the way, up toward part of, it looks like Eccles, Suwannee, and Hamilton counties now. The Jacksonville office here, winds could gust to around 40 miles an hour. So let's go ahead and jump back over there. Again, this is view in Bradford County. We're seeing you for a second. But back to this view now. You can see some lightning there out to the west coming in toward the Jacksonville County warning area. I know we had a situation last night where it was very unique. They had some tornado warnings popping up there in East Tennessee and toward western North Carolina. We had one area rotation really that we were watching going there between a few different weather service offices. It was kind of crazy to see. I mean, we were talking about the Blacksburg, Virginia office. They were in there. They were in there issuing a tornado warning. We had Morristown issuing a lot of tornado warnings there. And then we also had a scenario where we ended up having even Greenville, Spartanburg issue one there in between those two, just for that one area rotation. But I know the rain's starting to pick up where we're at now. Let's pop that up. It's not that overwhelming in terms of like severity here or anything like that. At this point, the warning did go away. But let's go ahead and punch first up. Let me get, you have it on Moody. I have it on Moody radar right now, but let me go back to this radar, and we'll go ahead and go back to our camera side now. With that double box here. So it would be a man, so I'm doing it as I talk. So That's why sometimes things don't come just immediately here, but there you go. You can see there's some of that rain coming on down. You can kind of see some of that there in the shot. So, again, some strong thunderstorms in some spots heading west, strong, but there's still dangerous lightning here with any thunderstorm. This goes by the name thunderstorm. Any thunderstorm has potential to produce a cloud of ground lightning that can strike folks, strike trees, strike homes. You kind of get the idea. So you got to be careful there. Right at the time folks are getting out of school here, in some cases this afternoon. So again, just continuing to watch things here. I know we'll just keep checking. Let's go back to the north again, see if this is getting anywhere close to needing a warning, because we hate to jump off and then have to jump right back on, or there's a warning that gets issued. We're starting to see a little bit of enhancement again. This is right near Cecil, just south of Cecil Field now. Nothing overwhelming, but starting to see it looks like about 27 winds one way and about 20 the other way. So that's winds closer to 50 and maybe a burst of wind energy not out of the question here. So this may be under severe. It's kind of that overall maybe orientation or radar might preclude as much severe there in terms of that type of wind enhancement. You would expect more of just a straight line winds versus a burst. But again, continuing to watch things here. It looks like a storm just popping in northeastern Duval. There's an advisory for that, and yeah, they're seeing 26 one way and about 15 the other way, pretty close. The wind's there to about 40 miles an hour, not out of the question. And that advisory should pop up in just a moment. It is issuing one for coastal Duval and coastal Nassau, so that's what it is, I'm sure. With that type of signature popping pretty quick on the Doppler, so again, that's what we're dealing with right now there. Again, we did have the warning in play we had to jump on for, but that's no longer in effect. That was warning for on Lodi, but especially on Highland there. And I'll go back even. Let's go back to rainfall 1 hour. You can kind of see it up there in northern Bradford. You see Lodi didn't get it quite as much here. You had some stuff in western Bradford that was pretty nasty. That's at the time the warning got issued there. Some of the worst of this, maybe just north of Canada, 225 is how bad it is up here. A little while ago, you can kind of see some of that red there that was on the screen. That warning got issued right about there as it was moving up toward Highland, some of the worst of this. So again, now I'm seeing some of the worst moving toward parts of southern Duval County, still northern Clay. But once you get into Duval, this is going to pick up very quickly with the population. As you're not into as much right here, but as it's going to start clipping some maybe in Clay. It picks up quick there, but then into where Duval, you're really getting that population. Be crossing over I-295 here in a little bit, so something to kind of keep in mind. Something to keep in mind here as we're looking at things, as we're kind of giving you guys the latest updates. You can see I've been switching radars some, so that's why it's not a continuous look at points, but I just switched it back. I know we had, you saw one thing here, I was watching it too, but this is really displaced. I mean, if this was in the storm, you'd think there was some rotation, but that was displaced there on the radar. But a little after, we ended up getting a warning. And then you can see here, they're starting to get an enhancement. They may go with a warning here pretty soon. I kind of hate wrapping it up. If we're going to get a warning for Southern Duval, so we have to stay on for those. With that type of history, wind gusts of 50 miles an hour, no possible here. As we're looking, as this moves into southern Duval, it's a pretty impressive signature now. I mean, we're getting winds at 32 one way, 28 to 60 mile an hour's worth of winds there coming in towards southern Duval now. And if we got a burst of wind energy, again, the orientation would suggest that it might not be as likely, but heading into southern Duval in general, just the way it kind of goes with the warning, they don't take weather service, Jacksonville, Tallahassee, wherever, Tampa, you wouldn't take as big of a chance here. The more populated area here under a warning, more population density. So that's why I'm going to stick with it a little longer to suggest you a warning then for that. Maybe it'll post back down when you get those greens and reds like that. Not gate to gate, but like that. That indicates maybe a burst of wind energy here, and those can die down kind of quick. So if it starts to die down, then we may wrap it. We'll just have to watch out for a little bit of wind enhancement at the surface for a moment. But again, let's go ahead and track some things here. I hear that rain. You might hear that rain in the background where I'm at too here in Bradford County. I know. Continuing to watch things. You see the rain coming on down there. As we get back, move the map around. You don't see, I mean, some of the stuff doesn't look as aggressive here as we're watching from the overall view, but you can see our 1 out of 5 wind risk is in play today, and then looking toward Alachua, kind of around Gainesville there, getting some stuff there toward even Gainesville Airport, some thunderstorm activity there, and then southern Bradford County, have some of that here. Again, this is where we're watching some enhancement of winds, maybe trying to come into play. You see how hail kind of weakened back down, maybe a little bit of rotation earlier, but I think that was a displaced area actually, where that picked that up, and then that means it wasn't likely, it was unlikely getting there in terms of it trying to be service based. But again, continuing to track here just a little longer, as we could get a warning. You see the higher instability in Duval, so that's another cause for concern. We have some stuff out here that's pretty high as well. Could get some more warnings in the west later, northwest later. Just something to watch. You know, this heat index value is still pretty high, certain spots. Not as much where we're at now, east of Star. We're down in temperature-wise into the 70s, so heat index value dropped a lot as well. Again, continuing to track things. Dew points are up though, as you would expect. Let's go ahead and go back to infrared satellite. You can see some of the cloud tops here. Sometimes on the edges, you can kind of get this stuff to be a little more intense down to the surface. Although a new severe thunderstorm watch issued even up toward Washington, D.C. now. That'll be a storyline nationally. Small chance of a tornado in there. As we're looking towards some of these spots, you can see that green. Even New York City under that. Buffalo under that there. So, got some different areas. I kind of zoom out a little just to get a perspective on this. But then we'll zoom back and you see a lot of lightning even in the Gulf. Let's pull that back and then we'll go ahead and jump back on over to this view. I know a bunch of warning northeast Georgia, but locally that warning went away, what we had to come on for. But let's go ahead and keep checking here. Just I don't want us to get caught off guard here. Okay, our latest scan's a little bit more positive now in terms of good news. You can see we don't have the greens and reds together like we did. Looks like there's a kind of fading some, so that's a positive sign. That means a warning's less likely now, I would think. Could still get a quick gust of wind to the surface there, about 50 miles an hour or so. And you could still get some of those if they try to redevelop as it gets further on in. And this area here, northeastern, well, that's getting a little bit stronger there. Seeing some pixels about 50 miles an hour. Now, this is in an area here. Let's check the topography. I know you don't have cities showing up necessarily, but there are some populated areas in here before you get to the coast. So keep that in mind. Be crossing over A1A here next little bit. So, again, there's something to keep in mind. Could get a warning out of a pixel situation like this because starting to see that build upwards some 500 feet. You get winds to about 50 something up here. And this includes areas like Amelia City, Little Talbot Island, and Talbot Island with the advisory where the winds were 40 on that. But now I would say probably closer to 50 is not out of the question. A warning, you need 58 though. So you need that potential to get to about 58 miles an hour and be a little more probable. But again, let's go ahead and keep watching things here. I know certain algorithms are used sometimes to kind of determine that probability, but here in Gainesville, see some lightning there in town. Nothing strong technically, but lightning can still be dangerous enough. Folks there, maybe like getting out of classes there at the high school level and the public school level, private school level. Just gotta be really careful. You know, universities were not quite back necessarily in cases, but again, just continue to watch internet. Some pretty heavy rain where we're at right now. Let me go ahead and pop up here that rain on our camera lens. You can see that coming down here in Bradford, disrupting things as people try to get out of school. That 4th day of school here in Bradford County. So, unfortunately, the weather wreaking some havoc here. Nothing overwhelming at this point, though. Not overwhelming as we had earlier, but still some lightning that could be an issue. Again, looking there toward I-295. That's not as strong, so we don't want to stay on for that anymore. This area here, well, it doesn't look quite as strong either. Okay, it looks like it's kind of trying to spread those winds downward now as well. Could we still get more warnings? Don't get me wrong here. We have to just remain on guard throughout the day because we could more than likely here have those warnings start to come back on the board as stuff comes in from the west. It's still very warm here. And there were some areas toward west here toward the north, and that's why we had that marginal 1 out of 5 risk here in play. Marginal 1 out of 5 risk here in play as we're looking there toward all 62 counties. And there's going to be worked over a little bit more here at this point, but again, I just got to be kind of cognizant. 1 hour rainfall there over an inch in parts of northern Bradford, parts of Madison County there, about an inch, parts of northeastern McCullough, about an inch. Just kind of seeing some different things, and this area kind of stands out here to south of Taylor in Baker County. So again, just continuing to watch things here. I mean, you could just continue to watch here how could have some more downpours. We went through some of these different areas here over the next little bit. Again, no official warnings anymore. They dropped that warning. That included areas of Baker, Bradford, Union, Clay, and Duval. But I know it's more focused on Bradford, actually, based on where that was in northern Bradford. Still hearing some thunder around. Whenever thunder roars, you gotta be really careful. You gotta go indoors if you can, because we don't want any tragedies to happen here with that electrical energy around. So, gotta be careful here. If you can, you really, I mean, it can be deadly. So, you can't take any chances here in these type of situations, really. So, I know it's kind of tough for folks to get out of school right now. Kind of, just got to be really careful though. I try to take shelter from the light as quick as you possibly can. If you're not able to really wait it out there, but again, because you know every second they're out with the electrical energy around when you're hearing that thunder rumble, especially if it's closer when you're in the storm action, then that's just putting you in a little bit of risk there. So. Again, I just continue to watch things. That's going to do it for now. I know we have several warnings in North Georgia, northeast Georgia there, east of Athens, and then you have some stuff there west of Greensboro there in North Carolina. We'll just continue to track things here, continue to give you guys the very latest. We have a formal update here later tonight, of course, as planned. So we'll just have to continue here. To watch for the latest. Of course, if something really starts to break on us, which is down for a while, then that may change, but we're not in that situation right now. We're about to wrap it up. And just if we start getting some stuff out west here that starts coming in that's a little bit more potent, and that could be something that changes things around a bit. But again, we're just continuing to give you guys everything here that you need to know. Let us look at that camera. There's not many cameras available in Bradford, so let's just do that to you again here. You can see the bottom right there. That's our view. Looking there from the Stark area back west. We're east of Stark, but looking back toward the west there. In general, maybe southerly component there just a bit, but in general, you can just see the rain coming down now in this type of situation. So, again, we're going to be tracking things here. No formal warnings right now. It's still 96 degrees. I see that at Craig Airport there in Jacksonville. So, kind of interesting. We have the energy, but sometimes things don't work out exactly like you would expect this based on certain metrics. And I'm starting to see a little bit of maybe, I'll double check this because this is like a little bit of a re-emergence here, maybe. Yeah, a little bit of a re-emergence there of wind energy just west and really coming into parts of Orange Park there. So I'll have to watch that in because that looks like it's starting to come back together a bit. 27 one way, 15 the other way. Now I gotta get to 32 at Cecil, by the way. Here, just the last few moments on that northern edge of that other signature that fell apart. It's like one trying to come together further to the east now. So That could be an issue here as we track it. This can happen within just a few moments, so that's why we got to be kind of careful here. 28 one way, 15 the other way, right near 295, and then coming up near the Naval Air Station, and then crossing over. It looks like I-95 there, US 1, before maybe getting out toward the beach. And now you don't want to be out of the beach here. I know in these situations, whenever lightning's around, that's a hazard as well. So okay, they're going to go with a warning now, it looks like. So that's kind of what I'm afraid of here. And that's why I didn't want to wrap it up, because I know with population density, and a little bit of just a little bit of an escalation here can get you a warning. So even though we had the other area fade, this area has come together very quickly now, near 295. So now a warning to 315. For northwestern St. John, northeastern Clay, and southeastern Duval at 236. A severe thunderstorm is located over Orange Park, moving east at 20 miles an hour. Orange Park, UNF, Mandarin, Fruit Cove, Jacksonville Beach, Neptune Beach, Fleming Island, Bay Meadows, Nocatee, and Ortega now underneath this warning until about 3:15. So it could expect some damage to roofs, siding, and trees. So we're going to have to stick with this, obviously, here now, with this very highly populated area under this warning until 3:15. We have some wind enhancement we started to see again there in the Doppler radar, right near 295. Right near 295 there. So we're going to have to stick with this to protect you, protect your friends, and protect your family. Again, parts of Clay, Duval, and St. John's underneath this new warning. Things came together again very quickly in this setup, very quickly, very rapidly here. So I didn't want to take any chances in terms of wrapping this up, since we started to see that happen again here. And now we have a warning in play until 3:15 for parts of the area. So let me go ahead and put up some of the precautionary information right now for the viewers at home, just to kind of remind you guys of what we need to do in these type of situations. I mean, when there's lightning around, you got to be careful anyway. But again, just continuing to track things here. Just there, as we're getting into Duval County, I know it looks like some of the roads are starting to slow down in that area. Not sure if it's because of the weather or not, but it might be because of the weather. I'm looking at some things preliminarily here. So just look down toward Ortega, and look there, I-285 west south of Blandon Boulevard. Let's pop up this shot right now. You're going to see some deteriorated conditions here for sure once I get this shot up for you guys at home. So we're going to go ahead and take our traffic system full. Actually, look like the camera just it's going on and off there a bit, but let's go ahead and pop it up. There you go. I-295 west south of Blandon. So again, just continuing to watch things here with this live Florida 5-1 perspective. You can definitely see some of those winds out there in parts of the metro there. So you can definitely see this situation as it has deteriorated there with that new warning now. And 3:15, the winds at 60 miles an hour. Not out of the question here for parts of Clay, Duval, St. John's, Clinton, closer to Orange Park, moving up into toward Jacksonville now with that wind enhancement here. So see, folks, their lights on, they need to have them on here. There's headlights on to be able to kind of be able to see each other better in downpours. So again, let's just go ahead and keep watching things, keep tracking things here in the Weather Center. Let's jump back to the radar again. Remember to stick with it now, because with that warning issued, we're going to wrap it. But around Ortega, I know we're seeing some of this nastier weather here. Just have to be kind of mindful of what's going on in these type of situations. Right near the Naval Air Station there in Jacksonville. So again, some pretty nasty stuff that we're dealing with here. Severe thunderstorm warning in play. Gotta keep effort in some shots. Let's get right into the St. John's or the Buckman Bridge. See if we can pull that up right now and show you guys what's going on here. And it is dark out there for sure on this Florida 5-1 perspective right now. Definitely don't want to be out there if you can help it in these type of deteriorated conditions. Again, severe thunderstorm warning at 3:15. Watching things around parts of Clay, Duval, and St. John's. Even getting some hail indications now there, so on our Doppler technology. So northwestern St. John, northeastern Clay, southeastern Duval at 2:36. A severe thunderstorm was located over Orange Park and released at 20 miles an hour. Orange Park, UNF, Mandarin, Fruit Cove, Jacksonville Beach, Neptune Beach, Fleming Island, Bay Meadows, Nocatee, and Ortega. So, again, that's what we're dealing with right now in parts of the metro of Jacksonville here with this warning. With this warning here that's in play. You really want to try to take precaution. Could have some trees fall, some tree limbs fall, and the like here in this type of scenario. So, again, that's what we're dealing with right now. The wind enhancement will be fading just a tad there at points. I mean, but it's still definitely enough where we could have some damage. I mean, it's broad. These colors are bright enough where we could still get some damage here. It looked as if we had things kind of start to come back there, and then you can see we had a warning, and we still have to just be kind of careful here. Right here, 295 and 21 in the word Jacksonville right now. That's where some of the worst of this could be at this present point in time. So, and that camera actually we have under the still, so I'd pop it up. We've been kind of in that general area with some of these sites over the last few moments, trying to see these deteriorated conditions. So I know near McGurk's Creek there, near Ortega, you kind of get the idea right there into the St. Johns River, to Naval Air Station, to Clay Forest, to Clay Oak Hill. So again, I'm just going to continue to watch things here with this severe thunderstorm warning in play. You just don't want to be messing around in these type of situations, obviously. As we try to protect you, try to protect your friends, try to protect your family, not expecting any type of tornadic scenario setting up or to set up out of this. So that's the good news. But we just have to kind of continue to watch things here in terms of the wind enhancement. Because that can still cause some damage. But again, some damage could happen to roof side and trees here in this type of situation with this warning in the highly populated area, the highly populated area here, the densely populated zone. You can see here right along US 17 now. Some stronger winds on this latest scan in the last few seconds. Some stronger winds there around US 17. So that's a little bit of cause for concern there. In the word that area, we do have a camera there, so let's go ahead and go live to that, as the conditions are pretty nasty in the word that area. If it's still online, okay, I think it just went offline. Yeah, it looks like that's what happened. I'll pop this up just for a second here. Yeah, because that's what it looks like there. So again, or actually maybe not. I'm seeing a little bit of a light in there that really just that hard to see out there. Okay, it is. I just saw some lightning, so it's really that hard to see out there right now, apparently. Wow, okay. I mean, this may be kind of exaggerating things a bit here from this angle, don't get me wrong, but again, it is pretty nasty out there right now. You can see hardly nothing. Just some splashes there. Things are really, really nasty there right now. Just the angle higher up may be kind of giving us an illusion it's a little bit worse than it actually is, but it's definitely not great out there with this lightning around I-295 west at US 17 there. It's about as, I mean, hard to see on this camera as you ever can get. I mean, and then sometimes the fog will get kind of like this, but wow. Okay, you're not seeing very much from that, so I don't want to leave it up too long. I know it's just nasty, but it looks like a gray screen, honestly. That's what I thought at first. So, again, let's just go ahead and keep watching things there. Right near the Naval Air Station, and just south of there, maybe we'll have some of that burst of wind. Maybe a little bit greater. But again, just watching here. You can see we have winds of about 20 to one way and about 20 the other way. So at least winds of 40, but I definitely could get closer to 60 here in this area as this wind enhancement moves over US 1, I-95, and then getting further over toward 9A there. I know sometimes when you have these, you don't see the number down in 60, but this is a type of signature here, especially a more popular area where it definitely makes sense to issue a warning because sometimes winds don't align perfectly to the colors and what the radar thinks they are. Sometimes they're a little bit stronger than what we're actually seeing here with the colors as we're tracking things. So you don't want to lay your guard down here in parts of Duval County. Flood advisory now being issued for parts of Clay, Duval, and St. John's. And these colors just got a little bit brighter actually though, getting closer to that 50 to 60 range in that latest scan. That could definitely get some nastier winds down toward the surface here. That could cause some damage here in toward this part of the viewing circle. So I know we started off with a warning in Bradford County here and some surrounding zones in northern Bradford. That went away. We're about to wrap it up, but we started to see something there emerge. It kind of faded, then started to see another area emerge, and now we have this warning here in play for a lot of population here in Duval County and Clay County and a little bit of St. John's. There's some population there as well until 3:15. So for another 28 minutes here. And I mean, this storm here probably wouldn't be off the coast in 28 minutes. So if it still held its own at 3:15, they could issue another warning here then. But as things kind of escalate, this other area didn't get a warning here. It's almost off the coast now, southern and southeastern Nassau County. But this one does have the warning here. You can see the greens. You can see the reds here. We're getting really, really tight. You can see a lot of topography, and then it's going to be crossing over to St. John's. And then it'll be kind of re-emerging here as we get over there towards some of the different areas there. You have US 1. Will be just north there of I-295. Some of the worst of this is it kind of emerges there from across the river. So again, just about to be crossing the river now. That latest scan that comes in here soon to show that. Again, some pretty nasty weather here. Concentrated the worst there, but we have some other advisories that we're watching, obviously. But right now, it's mainly about this area in Duval County here. We have the flood advisory as well. 1 hour rainfall already, some spots are getting over an inch here pretty quickly. So just got to be kind of careful here. I know this is the second day of school in Duval County, so folks may be unfamiliar with some of the areas that they're going into even to some degree. It could be a little bit more dangerous than so you got to be careful here. This is the worst of this is east of 17 it would look like, but every end of the warning got to respect the polygon here, of course. And that latest scan just coming in just there right near Naval Station and Jax. And then it'll be over to St. John's with the worst of this. Doesn't mean we couldn't have damage in other spots even now. Right along, it looks like 295. We're getting some pretty strong winds here. And then we'll be just watching areas downstream here as we get into more population. So we're 249 right now. Let me see here. We want to take a quick break as this goes over to St. John's, and then we'll be right back here. So let's see. I don't think we want to stay out too long. So let's say we'll be back here at 2:55 with more weather information, as it'll probably start to already be re-emerging over land by then. Here, if something really breaks before, then we'll jump back in sooner. But again, some stronger winds will be crossing here to St. John's, and then emerging in the more popular areas here as we get further east in Duval County especially. So make sure you're taking precautions inside, away from windows here with the damaging wind potential. The reason this warning has been issued here for parts of the covered area this afternoon. So again, we'll be back here in about 5 minutes, so keep it tuned to Cloud Weather. We'll keep you guys up to date here. See you back at about 55 past the hours. We still have this warning in play at about 3:15. meteorologist Casey Cloud back here in the Weather Center on this Tuesday afternoon here, and just continuing to give you guys the very latest on exactly what's going on here in this type of weather situation. You can see that yellow box there on the screen. It's a thunderstorm warning until 3:15 for areas of Clay, Duval, and St. Johns counties. So let's go ahead and zoom back into that area. Just got a gust into the 40 range there on the naval air states in the last few moments. So some pretty strong winds coming up there. And then you see our signature. Our signature radar just starting to get there on the banks of the St. Johns River, you would think here, because this is just a couple minutes behind. They're probably right there on the banks now, starting to move in towards some of these different areas as we get toward US 1, toward I-95. You kind of get the idea. Again, just continuing to give you guys the very latest here. Trying to give you guys the very latest on exactly what is happening. I'll go ahead and zoom back out because I know we do have a stronger storm there up toward eastern part of Duval and Nassau, especially Nassau. At this point, we have some more stuff that's getting close to maybe needing a warning there, according to the 50-mile-an-hour here, this advisory. As we're looking at things right near, it looks like I-75. So again, just continue to watch that. Some of the areas of winds 40 plus not out of the question here as they move in towards, some of this stuff moves in towards south central Georgia over the next bit. So we'll just have to watch that. Even in advisory now for the Ocala area, winds there around 40, not out of the question. So you got to be paying attention there. And then you can see here, I know, by the way, seeing a gust of 41 officially reported here. But again, just seeing some stronger winds. These aren't the most overwhelming signatures here that we're seeing, but I don't want to take any chance because of the population density that we're dealing with here. Because any wind enhancement could cause damage here, really. Since there's so many opportunities, so many areas, so much population for the wind to take advantage of, per se. So again, that's why we got to be kind of careful here. That's why we got to stay on with you guys here. Protect you, your friends, and your family. I know it's summertime stuff, but sometimes these are a little bit more nasty in terms of the overall potential threats, and this is in a more populated area here, so and we have had now a gust over 40, and it wasn't in the exact spot where the worst the wind might have been looking to maximize, so gotta keep that in mind as well. Gotta keep that in mind as well, so again, so the thunderstorm warning here in play at about 3:15 for parts of Clay, Duval, and St. Johns. At 2:36 at least, the worst of this was over Orange Park, moving east at 20, and a little bit of northerly component with us as well. Orange Park, UNF, Mandarin, Fruit Cove, Jacks Beach, Neptune Beach, Fleming Island, Bay Meadows, Nocatee, and Ortega under this warning. So I just gotta be kind of being mindful here. You just gotta be mindful of the situation that we're in here. Again, crossing the St. Johns River, and I know when you cross the St. Johns River, you have areas like Beauclair there. You have some other areas there like San Jose. And there's got to be taking heed of these storms as they try to come into your picture here. Whenever thunder wards go indoors, of course. And I'm seeing some backups on some of the roads in Duval. Let me pull up one of the sides. It's pretty nasty. And maybe some accident type of activity causing some of this, because haven't necessarily gotten the worst from this yet further over, but you can see the wind kind of sinking the camera. This is I-95 north of Butler Boulevard, and you see the back up there on the road. At this point in time, these nastier weather conditions having an impact for sure. So again, that's what we're dealing with right now. You can see folks with their headlights on and brake lights on as well in this type of situation. So let's go move away from this shot here. Go back to the warning again, going from the 15 minutes officially. We'll see if they extend it or not, if they drop it early or just let it ride out right now. It seems like maybe just letting it ride out would be what they would do, and then maybe not reissue of the signature and or the reports down the line. Let me see if we're getting some power outage numbers in Duval County, because we have a lot more opportunities for power outages here with a storm in Duval at a similar strength as maybe one in northern Bradford, because the population is just so much more. I'm not talking about like Stark, I'm talking about like Holland area there. We had some of the storminess earlier on, so again, just continuing to watch things. Okay, Bradford, by the way, does have over 1,000 customers in the dark by the last check, nonetheless, which is a lot. I mean, over 1,000 in the darkness. It takes a little bit sometimes for this information to come in. And on FP&L now, it was showing that, and it does seem like maybe it's gone down just a bit here. Since the aggregate update a few moments ago, it's still some outages there in far northern Bradford County. There's you're getting north of Laurie especially. So it'll be interesting to hear exactly what happened. I know one of the outages reported at 206 there. So I'll be interested to hear what happened with that, because that's definitely a jump, though. I think some of those have already started to be restored in that part of the region based on just the overall FP&L map not showing as high as the update from the aggregate map from a few moments ago. So just continuing to watch things here. Yeah, that aggregate map was updated 20 minutes ago, so by now I think we're already starting to see some restoration. So gotta go to the DEA map on that same line of thinking, because this is from 20 minutes ago, so 119 customers out, but in 20 minutes a lot of things can happen. So as good as the aggregate map is, it sometimes is better just to check the other maps, because they get updated a little bit quicker. So only 8 customers now out on DEA so far. That means maybe the winds aren't reaching as much then. But again, it could be a situation where there's a delay, because we thought maybe they weren't reaching as much in parts of Bradford, and we ended up getting over 1,000 out at one point. So, meaning electrical problems, maybe a storyline there with lightning in play, and or just the overall wind threat to some degree. Seeing some wind enhancement here just on the edge of this Warner on Jack's Beach now. Yeah, we're seeing quickly popping up action there. Ponte Vedra Beach, Jack's Beach. That's always dangerous when you have stuff pop up that quick there, because folks are getting caught off guard. Upscale growth there. Then we get down toward the south, and we have the advisory in Ocala's area. But then we have a new one coming now. It hadn't popped up on here, but it's until about 3:30 for parts of Alachua, Putnam, and Marion counties. So I just have to be kind of watching. There you go. So we're talking about winds around 40. Citra, Hawthorne, Cross Creek, Noonan's Lake, Rochelle, Micanopy, Reddick, McIntosh, Lackalusa, and Grove Park. So again, I just have to be kind of paying attention here to exactly what we're dealing with. Exactly what we're dealing with in this type of situation. The heat of the day here, getting involved, causing some issues. Of course, once we get out of these summertime storms, we can have a break, or we could have hurricane season come into force, and or we could just have rainy patterns come into play. Those are some different options on the table as we look ahead. So just something to kind of think about as we are kind of getting here the latest updates into the Weather Center. So again, it's all about protecting you, all about protecting your friends, all about protecting your family. Let's see where else we want to go with this right now. You see around Ocala there, some heavier downpours. Right over town, some gustier winds there showing up. Right in Marion County. And going back up toward Duval County now. Winds, they're getting a little bit stronger there. 45 reported. You see the 44, but then actually officially it's 45. Our system kind of does some weird rounding sometimes when it's on the fly, going from knots to miles an hour, but officially it gets to 45, then reported at 259, the Naval Air Station. So it's still, I think, even though the rounding with the knots to miles an hour can be weird, I think it's still helpful to put those numbers on the screen from our system, even if the rounding's occasionally 1 mile per hour off, because it gives us a little bit more advanced warning of what's been happening with the different wind reports. So, and then what could happen toward areas downstream. Almost seems like this area right near the coast has started to take some of the worst of the winds and bring them down to the surface right here, just outside the warning there on US 90, right at Jack's Beach. I mean, That's odd how that's developed because I think we're seeing a decaying of the area that's under the warning here further back. It definitely looks like that's decayed some. Yeah, because it is spread out, and that's probably not going to get extended then. I mean, they could do a short one here at the coast, but it's so short-lived, they might just go with an advisory and write it out that way, because by the time a warning got issued, this stuff probably be, unless it really rides the coast upward, like it's almost trying to go north for a second, but I think it'll probably get into coastal waters pretty soon, but could get up toward Neptune Beach and Atlantic Beach here over the next few moments. So, again, just continue to watch things here. Continue to track things. Again, seeing some wind there on the Doppler. You see some lightning down here, further down in the warning. Some of that action there right across an I-95. There was some heavier downpours. Gustier winds not out of the question. Let's check down here again. Some of these storms that have advisories on them could get more warnings. Seeing a little bit of enhancement here on that southern flank there. Just east of 75 right now, north of Reddick. And then just continue to watch around Ocala. I know they discontinued the heat advisory at 7. I'm curious here. I wonder if they dropped some of the counties out where we've had the rain. Let me see. Certain counties might have got dropped from this. No, okay, looks like they're keeping it pretty much for everybody, so interesting. Maybe some more heating then really could come back into play according to that line of thinking, even though right now a lot of just light rain moving across Bradford, so it seemed like it would take a while if that were to happen now. But again, you can see our warning up here, advisory up here. And then you have the storms to the south. You have some storms here. These look like they're getting a little bit stronger. Have some more stuff out here that could get stronger. That could have winds in excess of 40 in our northwestern counties now. And this here, moving up toward Valdosta. That might be something to watch. So that has winds there. That has winds to about 50 with it now all of a sudden. It looks like on our base velocities. That could be icy for Valdosta over the next little bit. You have this area here along I-75. Some wind enhancement there. You have some lightning around Mayo. Have some more lightning there north of Lauraville. Again, we're on for the warning right now. We don't go on for all the severe thunderstorm warnings. We do for tornado warnings, any tornado warning storm to move through our 62 counties. But we think there's enough concern with the severe thunderstorm warnings. That's when we come on the air and have to stay on the air until that threat is a little bit less. It lessens some. So that's why we're on the air right now, trying to keep you guys safe and informed. Again, trying to give you everything you need. And a strong thunderstorm winds of maybe to 55 now toward Lafayette County, so they're just under severe limits with that advisory now being issued until 4 o'clock. I mean, we could always see an upgrade. Could always see an upgrade here on that if things that get a little bit stronger out there and toward Lafayette County. And now I just continue to watch things around Mayo there. Definitely some stronger winds in that vicinity. We'll have to see what Jacksonville's office decides to do as some of this starts to move further on in here over the next little bit, because they could decide to go with a warning. We'll see. Be close. Not the greatest on the radar view in terms of coverage or the overall signature, but anything could happen there. A little bit more enhancement here right near I-95 for southern Duval. Again, this east of 75 here in northern Marion. We're watching a strong storm east of Ocala, a strong storm there as well. Any of these, in theory, could become a little bit stronger and get a warning, but not going to guarantee it. Okay, they're going to the advisory now. It looks like for parts of St. John's and Duval, they're 345, winds to about 50 miles an hour is the anticipation. So what I think here, they're going to replace this warning with the advisory then. For areas a little bit further off toward the east. That looks like the most likely storyline there. But we definitely could get more warnings yet today. Some of those warnings, they might require us to be on. Maybe all of them do, and maybe some or all of them don't. And if that's the case, then we'll just be posting those, though. We always post them if we don't come on Facebook there, Casey Cloud Reacts, Cloud Weather, and then Twitter at Cloud Casey. So just keep that in mind. We're on a stream, on all these different sources, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch right now. But if we just need to post about the warnings that come out instead of actually coming on with a live stream, a video here, then we'll just go ahead and make sure we're posting there. Facebook, Casey Cloud Reacts, Cloud Weather, and then Twitter at Cloud Casey. So that's kind of storyline there. Now, some of these signatures still one entail, but not necessarily the case here. This likes to overdo it some, if you're wondering. But still could indicate a little bit of strengthening there. Some strengthening in the Ocala area. Storm maybe not as much on the area to the north. A lot of this light rain moving into Bradford. Can't read a rumble of thunder, some lightning. I don't cue. Wow. Hearing some thunder right when I say that. I'm surprised by that because it's pretty rogue and renegade. Any lightning that be popping up in here. But you see the strike right up there right now. In northwestern Clay County, but again, maybe hearing that thunder in the background just a bit, but again, just could have a little bit of that, but overall, not as much storms and storminess to the areas there in the word Bradford. I just got a new warning, by the way, have to get up to the north, but not as much storminess over to Bradford County or next little bit, so I just got a new warning now. This is not going to go away then. Unfortunately, I thought we were going to wrap this up here pretty soon. Instead, now we got a new warning to 345 here before to Nassau and Camden. At 311, a severe thunderstorm was located near Fernandina Beach, moving east at 15. Don't know if the warning will last to 345 because it's right near the coast, but now a wind enhancement threat is coming together there for Fernandina Beach, Yulee, Amelia City, and Dungeness here. So for your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of your building. As they're expiring a warning down here, I have some stuff right near Jack's Beach that might get a warning. We'll see, but the velocity isn't quite as impressive now as this has become right there. This is right near the coast. I don't think it's going to last to 345. I know that's a little displaced, but that's because it's running behind a bit. But really the worst of this is right there at the coast. I mean, it's going to be out in the coastal waters here soon. So really maybe one of these that only goes about 330. I mean, as you can see here, winds about 56, so up all of a sudden here now, really getting that enhancement just north of Fernandina Beach, just into Georgia here. Maybe just, maybe a little bit of this extending down right into, maybe as close to Fernandina, but again, definitely some nastier weather here then. Some wind enhancement. This east of St. Mary's, this here northern fringe of the Fernandina Beach going into Georgia. Again, it's a bit thunderstorm warning in play until about 345. You see some stuff extending further back. Maybe getting more wind enhancement further back in this, not a question, but northeastern Nassau, southeastern Camden counties until 345 under this severe thunderstorm warning here, folks. This severe thunderstorm warning in place. So, at 311, the severe thunderstorm is located near Fernandina Beach, moving east about 15 miles an hour. So Fernandina Beach, Yulee, Amelia City, and Dungeness here under this warning now. So these warnings is kind of spacing out just enough so we can't really wrap it up here. We have to stay on with you guys to protect you, your friends, and your family. That's what it's all about here at Clouds Weather. So again, just continuing to give you guys the latest here. This is right there. As you look back, we don't have the stronger straight line winds, maybe right on this edge. Could still get a burst of wind energy right there on the west side of Fernandina Beach based on its angle. Not out of the question. And speaking of threats here across the area, just got another one to become more dangerous, potentially severe now toward Marion. And this issued a warning now for Marion County under 345. A new warning is coming out there. There you go at 314. A severe thunderstorm is located near Ocala. Moving northeast at 15 miles an hour. Ocala, Lynn, Santos, Anthony, as well as Silver Spring, Swords, and Burbank go under this warning. So I know it gets a lot more rural once it gets out of Ocala proper, but in the Silver Springs area. But right now, right over town, east side of town, could have some damage potential there. just east and north there, Roy, Merricamp Road. You kind of get the idea here. We're watching some wind enhancement. Not able to get the greatest view on Doppler because we're so far away, looking about 8,000 feet up. But again, 8,000 feet, maybe even a little bit more than that up. But let's go to Tampa radar. That's going to probably be even higher up. It is, but this gives a different perspective for a moment. Again, just continuing to give you guys the very latest here. Trying to let you guys know exactly what's happening here. Let's go toward Fernandina Beach right now. You can see here we have this warning, we have the other warning, 2 warnings at one time across parts of the area. So 2 severe thunderstorm warnings till 3:45. This one right here, I know we had the stronger winds kind of stop out here, but then back here we could have some more wind enhancement on the back side of this. Not completely out of the question now, so gotta be mindful of that. Right there, just west of Fernandina Beach, you see some greens and reds showing on up. I'm hearing thunderstorm where I'm at in the back, but back behind me, but I think we have this warning for Ocala as well. Again, severe thunderstorm warning issued at 3:45 for central Marion County. At 3:14, a severe thunderstorm is located, it looks like, over, not just near Ocala, moving northeast at about 15. Just got another new warning now. Looks like Duval and St. John's. It's this area right here out of the coast we've been warning you guys about for the last little bit. So, look in there right near Atlantic Beach, and let's see what the statement says on this. So, it looks like a 3:16. A severe thunderstorm was located over Ponte Vedra Beach, moving northeast at 10 miles an hour. So eastern St. John's, and really, I mean, northern St. John's as well there, and in east central Duval under a threat. You have Ponte Vedra Beach, Jacksonville Beach, Atlantic Beach, Neptune Beach, Palm Valley, and Sawgrass in a danger for some winds to 60. That lightning threat here as well. Just got to be extra careful. So now not just 2, but we now have a triple threat. We have 3 severe thunderstorm warnings. I know it's summertime. I don't want to hype these up, but triple threat might be kind of doing that a bit. But we do have 3 areas of severe warning concern at this present time. So again, just continuing to watch things here down toward Ocala. You have this warning here. You have the wind enhancement is too hard to tell based on the height. This is actually like rotation or something like that. Here, probably just like a downburst signature and wind enhancement though. Just southeast of State Road 40 where the worst could be, but it could be some pixel displacement here because we're just so far away in the Doppler. The chance that might be a little bit in a different spot than actually what it looks like. So that makes things a little bit tricky here as we have this warning out for parts of Ocala here for the next few moments, and then moving off toward the northeast at 15 miles an hour. So again, just continuing to watch things here. Let's go ahead and zoom back out. Again, just a lot of light and moderate rain in here will help kind of dampen things downward in terms of cooling things off around the Lake Butler area, western Bradford, and Columbia County there. A little bit of light in here and there. You see Baker County dampening things, cooling things off there too, though. Right into the coast, a different story. It's probably going to be a drop already here pretty soon, because look how quickly some of these higher winds are starting to get into coastal waters. So under that warning, we started to see the danger set up right into the coast there, but really, I think it's going to be a short-lived warning. We saw that danger set up a little while ago, really, and I'm no surprised they issued a warning on that, because it's just so short-lived with some of the worst that's already. I mean, this warning just got issued 2 minutes ago, 2-3 minutes ago, and we're already starting to see it now. 4 minutes ago, technically, but starting to get into the coastal waters. So again, let's go ahead and keep looking at things. From Fernandina, still could have something that's further back on this one, I think. That's something you don't want to lay your guard down. It looks like we're starting to see a little bit of a reorganization with some of the winds right over Fernandina then. That could be an issue. I mean, I suppose that's not something you could rule out further south, but it would seem a little less likely because some of the worst of this is already gotten into the coastal waters. And then as you get here, you have Ocala here into this morning. I know just right here watching that. I know we have marine warnings as we look back to the north for those threats there into the coastal waters. So keep that in mind. By the way, some winds to about 40 possible in southeast areas of Georgia. I mean, as we're looking towards some of the different spots, I mean, not out of the question, but then also in the ward areas of southwest Georgia around southeast Dougherty County. I mean, we'll be watching up there because they're now advisory to 4 o'clock. Some of that stuff getting going there. You see some lightning in Mitchell and Baker counties. I know that's really high up on the radar, but you could at least get an indication that something's there. Let's get back on. If there's any questions from any of the viewers at home, again, just thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for trusting me here on this Tuesday here. It's August 15th, 2023. Thought I might wrap it up a little while ago, but instead we've had to stay on the air because we've had more warnings pop up here across the area. Severe thunderstorm warnings, not tornado warnings, anything like that, thankfully, here across our 62 counties today, but still severe thunderstorm warnings have to be taken seriously here as these situations do arise on us. So, again, I'm just continuing to watch things here. Let's go ahead and zoom back in a bit. I don't want to confuse you guys at home being this far out, so let's just zoom back in for a moment as we give you guys the very latest on exactly what's going on. Just checking all the latest data that's coming on in here. Trying to let you guys know exactly what's happening. Got a gust of 53 at Jack's Wheat at 310. So I think that's the highest gust we've had today. Not officially severe. 58 is officially severe. Advisory issued just 1 minute before that for winds there up to 50. So about that range what we got right after. And then the warning issued a little bit after that. But that's going to be really a warning that's going to be short-lived because the worst of this is, I mean, right there, I mean, pretty much up to, because maybe a little bit of that still lingering right near Atlantic Beach. Atlantic Beach, you might have a little bit of that wind enhancement trying to kind of magnify a bit right into the coast. But, I mean, it's very, very close. I mean, a lot of this are in the warning. Already seeing the worst that they're going to see from the storm in this. So let's get back up toward the north here. You see around Fernandina Beach. You have those winds there. I know they don't look as impressive on this view, but I wouldn't be surprised here if we're getting winds a little bit stronger down toward the surface there. Is the overall pattern would suggest here that we could have some stronger winds, 40, 50, maybe out, not out of the question, to 60 there in the ward parts of Nassau County. So just got to be kind of careful there. Let's go ahead and zoom back out. See around Ocala. Again, some greens and reds. Stronger winds there, possible east side of town. Moving up towards Silver Springs there. You see a lot of population density right here in Ocala. Could have some damage, not out of the question there. It just eventually pushes up toward Eureka there. If it holds together. Be a little bit later on before it gets in that area though. Let's get back up toward the north here. Again, we have this warning for parts of Duval and St. John's. Around Atlantic Beach, you may have some lingering wind enhancement right at the coast, but a lot of that's already moved into the coastal waters. Fernandina Beach, got some wind enhancement right there. Again, it's tricky how this stuff does not want to quite completely get in the coastal waters at points, but this one moving east at 15 miles an hour. This one here down to the southwest moving northeast at 10 miles an hour. I know Clinch County there, northwestern Clinch, say severe thunderstorm warning not being issued there yet, but a strong thunderstorm will be impacting portions of that area there through about 4 o'clock. So let's check the radar out here to see if any of these are going to get warnings maybe pretty soon. Let's look southwest to Homerville. Got some stronger winds there on DuPont, 40 miles an hour, give or take. Gotta watch that. Some of the stuff there you see around equipment, maybe went to about 40 as well. Got some stuff further out, even in Alabama, we're watching some stuff as well. So, haven't got any damage reports in yet. The highest gust we got was at 53 miles an hour there, about 310 around Jax Beach. Did just get another flood advisory though for areas of Nassau and Camden counties until 4:30. So that heavier rain coming into play over the last hour. Some of these areas are right around, it looks like A1A getting about an inch and a half at least. This northwest there of the Fernandina Beach Airport anyway, that kind of Fernandina Beach stretches around a little bit. So the warning here, parts of Duval. Again, maybe a little bit of lingering wind enhancement right here at the coast, but the flood advisory now for parts of Duval and St. John's until 4:30. Look at some of our rainfall numbers. Just go to 1 hour. You can see over an inch in some spots here. All coming down pretty quick. So let's go ahead and zoom back out a bit. Keep on checking the latest here. Give you guys the very latest on what's going on. I know we're toward Lafayette County here on Mayo, some stronger weather, not officially severe right now, but got a lot of advisories out here. Some of these could start getting closer to severe limits if we're not careful. Now, this angle doesn't show it all that impressively though with the winds, but a lot of lightning out there. Whenever thunder roars go indoors, you have some lightning there moving toward Brooks County. We already have some though in the county, of course. And then let's get back on over now toward the east here. Again, right around Fernandina Beach, it doesn't look quite as impressive, but the angle on the radar could be a little bit tricky sometimes. Maybe a little bit of interference, even we're not that far away from the radar. The angle may be a little bit tougher to get a good look at. So again, let's check here now. Looking around Atlantic Beach, a lot of this starting to get off into the coastal waters. Let's get back down to Ocala. You see some greens and reds there, indicative of some stronger wind potential here. Right on the east side of town, still moving up towards Silver Springs. Not moving that fast, but sometimes when you're looking higher up like this, it's a little bit trickier, a little bit harder to really determine what's happening down toward the surface at a specific spot. So again, that's something to kind of bear in mind here. If we have all these warnings going for 17 minutes officially, they may not go that long. By the way, a flash flood warning for areas around Miami-Dade County if you're wondering. Just on a national level, not any flash flood warning around here though, but you can see definitely some heavier rain there in parts of Miami-Dade County. Around it looks like Richmond West there, one of the spots being noted on that national level, Florida level, and then Georgia we have some warnings there just south of Atlanta. Some winds showing up there, some gusty winds, some nasty storms. So just kind of touching on that there as well. But let's go back to the local view now. You can kind of see what we're dealing with. Some stronger winds. I don't see as much in this as I did earlier. This one here, again, most of it's toward the coastal waters. You gotta be careful though in those crafts, those small crafts especially. So again, just gotta be mindful here of what's going on. Small craft could be damaged and briefly higher winds and suddenly higher waves, according to the weather service there in Jacksonville. Let's get back down toward the south here. You can see this might be the most impressive of the three. That is a pretty nasty signature right now with that purple showing up. Just got a flood advisory from Marion County now at 4:30 with a heavy rainfall, but got a little bit of hail mixing in and some stronger winds mixing in there as we're tracking this there closer towards Silver Springs. Being the less populated area here pretty soon, but that's not the case yet. We're still getting into some pretty populated zones here in Marion County. So inside, away from windows where you want to be. Let's go back to the north here. See, I guess we had a 53 at about 310. Let's bad this up a bit then. So right in there then, and we had that. Could be a little bit of radar displacement going on, but you saw a little bit of a surge there still with the wind. It's tricky to get a wind that strong to right at the coast there. But you can see only this area right here is really still in a situation where we have higher wind potential with the heavier downpours reaching toward the surface. That's what I would think anyway. But you gotta always respect the polygons, even if I don't think the highest wind potentials in the certain parts of them at this point. But can't lay your guard down, of course. So again, I still hear some thunder rumbling in that background here. East of Stark, we'll just continue to watch things, continue to track things. Let's go ahead and zoom back out again. Get back down to Marion County, Ocala here. Have this warning. Severe thunderstorm warning for the 14 minutes or so for parts of Marion County. So definitely some stronger winds there. State Road 40 right now. Whether or not be driving, I'm sure folks that are out there, that are out and about. So keep that in mind. Just checking some new information to see what we have. Or at least checking for that new information. Just bear with me here. I'm going to check our GEA power outage map as we still watch that pretty strong storm there. Maybe severe storm in Marion. Only 115 customers out in Duval, so that's good. Good sign so far early on. Haven't really been getting the reports in. They got us to 53, but maybe not as much damage as could have been done by some of this stuff here today. Got another storm there just west of 95 now. That's a little bit stronger winds, maybe about 30 to 40. Just northwest of Kingsland. You see around Fernandina, less obvious the wind signature there. Same in eastern Duval. If we just had those, I probably wouldn't stay on at this point based on the threats there. Looking a little bit less. Still got to be careful at the coast though, and whenever thunder roars going indoors. But this one right here, this says more wind enhancement. Maybe a little bit of weak rotation at this point, but we are looking so high up. I don't know if you can really tell the difference between weak rotation and just other forms of wind enhancement here, because that'd be the less likely form of wind enhancement in this type of situation. It is canceled a warning, by the way, for Nassau and Camden, if you're wondering here. And I wouldn't be surprised if Duval St. John is close behind. But just going to continue to watch things here. Continue to monitor the situation. I know it's always kind of interesting to see what's going on here in these type of scenarios, in these type of situations. I know we have all that energy there further down to the south. Let's pop this up real quick. You see all these brighter colors. These pinks indicative of surface-based keep over 4,000 joules per kilogram. Not really seeing much in terms of tornado parameter or supercell composite though, which is good. So it'll be less likely for that to become tornadic. It is by itself though on the southern flank in that hot air mass. So that's something to consider though. Let's go ahead and jump back on over here. I know even if they extend this warning, there's a decent chance, unless I'm really seeing something, I just wrap it up because it's going to be more unpopulated areas here, really unpopulated areas, maybe for the next warning. And you see Eureka though, just a early heads up for you guys, maybe in the southern Putnam County over next a little bit, but it's going to be moving out of more populated zone, even if they extend it. Of course, if there's a tornado warning, will be on, but they get the off chance of it, have an off chance of that happening here at this point. But we'll just continue to track things, continue to give you guys the very latest on what's going on here. I've been on for a while, longer than maybe you'd expect here with this stream, but it's all about protecting you, your friends, and your family. The warning's kind of spacing yourself out, so been on for over an hour and a half here at this point. But on Facebook there, Casey Cloud Reacts, Cloud Weather, Twitter at Cloud Casey, YouTube at Cloud Weather, and then Cloud Weather on Twitch, and you have the website there too available. You have the interactive radar there. We can also go on there and just look at some different things, like those severe severe storm information or details on that severe tab. So things that are really at your disposal here from the Weather Center. So, and you have all those different links to those other websites there on the cloudweather.com homepage, at least one per. So that's something you can keep in mind there with the special live coverage. So, again, still watching the storm here in parts of Marion County. Have this warning, make another one issued here. It's moving pretty slow. Only northeast at 15 miles an hour. Again, some heavier downpours in here. Some gustier winds. A possibility moving up towards Silver Springs now. So just on the edge of the most populated areas here. Could be getting some damage there in Marion, not out of the question. Still this warning here in eastern Duval, surprisingly, has been holding on. Didn't hold on further up. You have some stuff that's kind of strong further out. Not officially warned for, though. No advisory, by the way. I'm looking here. 4 areas of it looks like Nassau, Camden, Glen, Brantley, Ware, and Charlton through about 4:15 for winds about 50 miles an hour. Not out of the question in that vicinity. Should broaden the view a little bit further, and then we're watching things toward Lafayette County. Some gusty winds out there. Can't really see them too much on the Jacksonville radar, but let's go to the Moody radar. Even they're not overly impressive, but and the angle can be a little bit tricky, but definitely some stronger winds there around Mayo, not out of the question. You see some stronger winds there possible on Homerville as well. Winds to around 40. Wind the next is a 40 possible there in this area here, just north of Quitman, really. See some stronger winds there south of Albany, same northwest of Albany. So a lot going on still. Let's go back to this area here in Duval and St. John's. There's a yellow box, and then there's the one down here that's been a little more impressive over the last little bit. It looks just a tad weaker now. No, we'll go back for a while in this, and this is slow, but yeah, it looks a tad weaker. So we just have to continue to watch things, continue to track things here in the Weather Center. Again, thanks so much for tuning in, interest in me here on this Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center. Just trying to evaluate all the data we have here on this. Again, looping it around a little bit more here. You can kind of see how I had the greens and reds become a little bit more intense. Now a little bit less intense. We'll have to see if they extend this warning. A little bit less populated areas downstream. So that'd be some good news here. That'd be some good news, but we'll just have to continue to watch. It's right over Silver Spring, some of the worst of this right now. In parts of Marion County. Let's go back to the east here of Jacksonville proper there in downtown. Further off, you have that warning, but it's to go away very soon. Let's go to the broad view. We just got an update on the Storm Prediction Center outlook for today. So there's a slight risk, I know, from North Carolina to Jersey there, but as we look toward our area, not seeing anything that really has changed. The wind threat is the most predominant. Not really seeing the other hazards come on board with tornado or hail. That'll be prominent enough to be listed. But again, just continuing to watch things here, continuing to track things. It's all about protecting you, protecting your friends, protecting your family. Look how hot it is in Georgia still. Some areas in Florida a lot cooler. I know we're in the 70s here east of Stark. It's really cooled off as I'm looking at my thermometer. Yeah, down there in that 77-ish range. But again, just continuing to watch things here. Looks like about 4/10 of an inch of rainfall here east of Stark so far today. Just looking behind me at my informational details, my thermometer, my rain gauge, my anemometer. So that's kind of your storyline right now. Okay, these warnings are for the 5 minutes. I know you have marine warnings on the board. We don't see for those. They're just expiring now. Okay, Duval and St. John. So technically, when they expire, instead of cancel, they still go to the time that they were set for, 3:45, but in this case, but the one that was canceled didn't, Nassau can, then the one Duval St. John's will. This one here, well, at this point, we're getting closer to the 3:45 hour. They'll probably at least keep it at 3:45, I'd think. And then there might be even an extension on this. Not quite as clear cut as it was a few moments ago, but it's definitely a possibility. So, got to keep in mind that potential. We have other storms we'll have to watch. May have to come back later for those, but just continue to watch this one right now. Continuing to give you guys the latest updates here on what's going on. Let's see if we get any indication from the Weather Service here on what they might do here soon. There'll be a new advisory if they don't put any sooner warning. It was looking like it was going to be pretty surefire, clear cut here to issue a warning here further out, but now maybe not the case. So, not looking a little bit weaker, but we're higher up here in the Doppler too. It looks like the worst of this is now kind of clustered just on the east side of Silver Springs on State Road 40. County Road 315 in a more rural area now, so I just want to see what they decide to do. May not even stick with it if we get another warning. It's just a matter of letting you guys know about a warning versus posting it if they were to issue another one. Just give you the quick details on it here because it's a more rural area at this point as we get further on out. So have to watch for other warnings though that could change the way we have to do this in terms of the coverage and just see what we get with those potentially getting issued. And you see a storm there just southwest of Homerville, a little bit stronger. We'll have to watch that. Again, stuff south of Albany there. You see stuff in Lafayette County around Mayo. That's a sign that storms aren't going to be done here for today, for many spots at least. So you got to kind of bear that in mind. Definitely really hot though in some of these backyards, these neighborhoods, these airport areas. I know, back toward Alabama, there's a severe thunderstorm warning. The red as we're looking toward Montgomery and just east of there. Very hot day. North of Macon, south of Atlanta, some warning, some damage even. Apparently, apartment there hit by lightning fire caused in parts of Henry County, Georgia, Fayette County, Georgia. Tree down with power lines blocking the roadway on Carroll's Way west of Darren Drive. So, a lot going on here for sure. So, again, you see our grand scheme of things. You see your outlook there. Wind risk 1 out of 5. New advisory just issued for parts of Henry County in Alabama, Clay and Randolph and Calhoun and early in Georgia, by the way. So you continue to watch things in the overall grand scheme. Just continuing to check everything that we have. See if satellite will come up. It doesn't seem like it wants to come up at this moment, but again, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for trusting me. To have all the energy around those higher energy values, of course. Gotta be careful. Let's get into our Marion County. See a little bit of wind enhancement right in there. Things kind of got a little bit stronger with this there, within that path of gray there, just south of Silver Springs, east side of Ocala per se. Maybe south side of Silver Springs, depending on how you guys kind of label that, but maybe more east side of Ocala as a look at topography. Not 100% sure there, but again, just continuing to watch things. And that geography, I know, is really important, not just the topography, but again, continuing to watch things. And this morning, hopefully it'll go away here. We don't get an extension, but you see how it is 93 up toward Palatka right now, 91 around St. Augustine. Still a hot day for many folks. Got to make sure you're taking those precautions, drinking plenty of water, making sure the elderly and children, those are the ones that are most vulnerable, making sure they're in a safer situation. So, okay, new advisor now for parts of Marion. No warning extension then. So, that's what it looks like right now. So, because there's no other areas of Marion that could get an advisory, and they just issued one. So, this is for Central and Eastern, and they're expiring a warning now. So, we'll come back if we need to here, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in and trusting me. We'll have a full update here later tonight. I'm still in the plans for now, unless something changes. Again, we're just going to go ahead and keep checking things, keep monitoring things here. If we need to jump back in, it's what we do here at Cloud Weather. But for now, enjoy your day. Stay safe out there with these storms around you. Strong to severe storms at times impacting portions of the covered area.